Hello, Huskies. We're back for another episode of Taka Latte with Christian and Jamie from IPS. I am Christian Montesinos. I'm the director of the International Programs and Services Department at Michigan Tech University. And I'm here with Jamie. We had a moment where I had to step out for a few things and she took the reins, but we're back together, right? Aren't we? So, Jamie, for those who have not listened to us before, right? I did my introduction. Tell me who you are in IPS and we can get started with today's topic.
Yeah, so I am Jamie Surdich. I've been in the IPS office for almost 5 years, and I'm the International Student and Scholar Advisor, and obviously, like you said, co-host of this podcast. Today's topic, we will be talking about things to do in the summer in Houghton. And so we have some extra guests with us as well on the podcast, and so I will give them a chance now to introduce themselves. If you want to start, Mariana.
Sure. My name is Mariana Nakashima, and I'm the Administrative Assistant for IPS, but I'm also the co-chair of Parade of Nations.
Hi, my name is MD Akhtaruজ্জামান. I'm from Bangladesh, so I'm a first-year PhD student. I came here in last year, August. So very exciting for me to be here. Yeah.
Wonderful. We also have our producer, Farida, who is our... Without her, we would not be able to do this because she is really the backbone of all of this. So, hello, Farida. How are you?
Hi, Christian. I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing great now that I'm back here with all of you. So, Jamie, we get this topic quite a lot. When we are dealing with incoming international students, when we are dealing with international students that have started in the fall, when they are starting in the spring, they all want to know, and it's a question that we constantly get throughout all of our time at IPS is, what's summer like? Is there summer in Houghton? Which there is, much to your dismay. There is a summer season in Houghton. What do you think, you being somebody that has grown up in the area, what does summer look like to you?
Yeah, I mean, definitely in the UP and especially Houghton, I know there's always a running joke saying Houghton is like the one place where you can witness all 4 seasons in one day, and I think that is true as well in the summer. But I mean, summer, especially from like June to August, I feel like that's the peak of it. Temperatures, I mean, it's changing every single year. Obviously, even with winter, we had a normal winter this past winter, but last winter was very uncommon, barely any snow. But with summer, we normally see probably about high 70s to mid 80s probably for an average temperature. But like I said, it's kind of a mix of spring weather in there with storms and rain, which we've had recently. I know a big thing as well, since we are so far up north and so close to Canada, there are the Canadian wildfires as well. So that affects our air quality, as well as just allergies as well. I mean, I know I'm someone that suffers all year round with allergies, but especially the spring and summer, I feel like everything's growing, everything's fresh, and there's pollen everywhere. So that's kind of what we see. But I feel like it's kind of one of those things, too, with the winter where unless you're actually here, you can hear all about it. But once you're actually here, it's completely different than what you expect coming into it.
One thing I want to point out, and I had my family recently here from Florida, is, and they actually pointed it out, and it's something that I think, having lived in Michigan for so long, is the length of time that we have sunlight out in any given day in the summer. And Mariana's nodding at me because her and I were in sync thinking about this. So Mariana, tell us about that for any student that's listening in, that this is their first summer, students that are coming into the fall that are excited about their next summer. What is a typical day going to look like in the sense of sunlight?
All right, I get up at 5:30 and the sun is already out, and I feel like sometimes I want to see the northern lights. I'm waiting for them. The sky is clear, but it's still 11 and it's not dark yet, 100% to see them. So in order to see them, I will have to stay a little later, which is like, no, it's bedtime. But what I love is about the amount of sunshine and like how long the days are. It definitely doesn't make you feel tired. 8 p.m., 9 p.m. It's like you have to work yourself out to go to bed on time because there is so much light. So if you're young and energetic, I think this works perfectly for you. Like you could plan a lot of adventures after work with your friends. You could still go on a picnic. You can still go to the beach, which I love. And then you can still do things after work. Like there is so much to do because there's still so much sunlight.
I agree. Jamie, and let's actually kick it over to MD for a second, because MD, is this your first summer in Houghton?
Yeah, that's correct. So yeah, it's very exciting for me. And like growing like in Asia, so I actually traveled like a couple of countries in Asia, but like sunset at like 10:30 is very unusual for me. Like normally like in Asia, like sun normally set like at 6:30 or 7 the maximum. So when I sent some videos and some photos to my mom back in my family, so they got very surprised and they said, okay, look at the time and look at the sun, and they cannot relate with that. So yeah, so last time I went to the McLean State Park to see the sunset, and it was fantastic for me. So it was great. So I sent that photos and videos to my family and friends, and they really love this. So yeah, the summer is going very great for me to be here. I mean, and also Mariana, I'm totally agree with that. So I normally like finish my work like at 5 or 6, and then I still have like 4 hours to do. That's like means a lot for me. I mean, I never get this kind of things like in Asia. So yeah.
I agree with you. I think I started at Michigan Tech last summer, and I came from Grand Rapids, which I was used to that, but I feel like in Houghton it's almost a little bit more that I see it insofar as sunlight is concerned. But what I really loved, which is something that doesn't happen in Lower Michigan, is the adjustment of time for summer hours. It's something that I've only seen specifically here. And a lot of people really kind of work towards that 4 p.m. kind of end of the day time, and to start their next day, right? Their next part of the day. And I really love that. And so you really see so much activity in the community after the regular kind of traditional work hours of 4 and 5. And I really love that, because then you have an extra 5-6 hours of sunlight as well. So Jamie, tell all of our listeners who now know what weather to expect, even though it is in the midst of summer and I'm wearing a sweater. So that can give you a little bit of an idea of what we're looking at. But we know temperature. We know there is a lot of pollen. We know the sunlight. But what are some things that students can look forward to doing? What are some things that you like to do in the summer that they can get excited about when they come to Michigan Tech?
Yeah, I mean, I know Mariana also already mentioned the Northern Lights, and I know that's one of our must-see things in the summer at MD. I don't know if you've seen the Northern Lights yet or not.
I've seen.
You have,
last
awesome.
year, yeah.
And that is a very, very common thing in the summer, and it's almost, like you said, with the sunset times, it's almost like an unreal experience. Like, I know the first time, because it is very late when you see them half of the time, and so I'm normally in bed, but the first time I saw them, I was on my way back home from out of town, and I was looking out the window. I was the passenger, and I was like, wow, like the sky is like moving. Like, am I sleep deprived? Like, am I tired? Like, what's going on here? And then I could see the lights, and I was like, oh my gosh, is this the Northern Lights? So it's a really cool experience, because obviously there's only certain parts of the world that can see that. But otherwise, I mean, I know we'll all talk about our favorite spots, but there's so much that you can see in nature. And I know that I mentioned in a previous episode that if you want the big shopping malls, that's not the place, for this. And but the nature, there are waterfalls, there are beaches, there are hiking trails, there's mountains. There is just so much. I'm personally a beach person. I love going to the beach, whether that's just sitting, reading a book, or swimming once it gets warm enough. Rock picking as well. I actually picked my first agate this past weekend, which was really cool. So, so that's kind of what I like to do. But Mariana, I know you're an adventurer as well. So what are some of your favorite things?
I agree with you. Going to the beach is definitely my number one, but I grew up across from the Pacific Ocean, so the beach really draws me. Water draws me. Lake Superior draws me so hard. And I love going to the beaches that have rocks. I love picking rocks. I think it's funny because they're so beautiful when you're there in the water and you take them home and then you're bringing them to your house and you're like, what did I see about this? And then you put water and then you remind yourself, oh yeah, that's why. You are beautiful. It's just right now, I cannot see it. But I love trying to look for an agate. Another thing that is fun that you can do is you can go to the library and rent a flashlight. And then with these special flashlights with black light, you can see the Upper lights. So these are the ones that were discovered some years ago, where if you put up the black light in the dark, they were going to have a lot of spots that are super bright orange. And it's a lot of fun trying to look for those. So in order to do that, of course, you have to go either really early or stay late. So maybe one day when you're going to see the northern lights at the beach, you can always have like an extra flashlight, or again, like they're only $10. You can buy one or you can rent one from the library and have it with you. So while you're waiting for the northern lights, you can actually go around and look for Upper lights. So that's what I think. I like to do two things at once, so I think that works.
Yeah, I know I'm someone too that I'm not really sure what I'm looking for when it comes to rock picking. Like I see a rock and I'm like, is this like a royal treasure, or like is this just a common rock? And so one of the popular places I feel like in the summer is Copper Harbor. And I know they have a lot of little shops and stuff like that where they have some of those different kinds of rocks on display. And so even just going up there and seeing what we have in this area and then kind of correlating that to what you find is really cool as well. So
I'm going to throw myself under the bus for a second, and I don't want to be – I'm sitting across from Mariana, and I don't want to see her look at me after I say this, but I am not adventurous at all, and she is the most adventurous, I think, of our office, and I have not been to Copper Harbor at all, and she is probably going to give me a horrible look after this, and so – you don't just have to do those things is my point, right? There are a lot of things that we're going to cover today that really apply, I think, to every single kind of student, because we have seen that variety in students, and we cater to that quite a lot in IPS. We not only handle all of your immigration stuff, your CPT, your OPT, anything that you kind of have surrounding that, but we really are a shoulder for every single international student, whether that's current, leaving, incoming, all of that sort of sense when it comes to especially the summer months, right? Because I think that we've all acknowledged that there's so much to do in the summer, even though from an outsider looking in, it's a much slower time in Houghton. A lot of the students have gone off home and on adventures outside of the Keweenaw, and so there are a lot of things that we will go over when it comes to things that you can do outdoors, indoors, farmers markets, places to eat, things to drink, all those sorts of things. But we do acknowledge that every single student is different. And so a lot of students come from areas where they've never seen so much nature and things that they're excited about, they're scared about to do. And so we cover a lot of those things. And so I think Mariana and I are kind of this good juxtaposition of she's such an adventurer. She loves hiking. She loves biking. She always has wonderful pictures on her social media about all these things. And I am at home reading a book. And I think that we kind of all three of us, and including Casey and Michelle from our office as well, all really are representative of the student body, of all of the different ways that you can really enjoy Houghton and not necessarily just think that you have to be out there hiking every single weekend. So, MD, let's talk about what are some of your, because it's your first summer, right? You've already talked about how interesting it is, the sunlight, right? The extra sunlight that we have. What are some of your favorite things? What are some of the favorite views maybe that you've seen? Coming from Bangladesh, it's such a rich country too. How does it compare and contrast in the summer, right? Because I know that the climate is very different there as well. But what would be your traditional summer season in Bangladesh?
Oh yeah, it's actually like totally different. Like in my country, the summer is considered as a very exhausting season because it's very hot. Like the temperature is like almost 40 degrees Celsius, and the humidity is very high. So normally, like we don't really enjoy that much summer, like in my country. So winter is basically the time that we enjoy a lot. We travel a lot, like back in my country. But in here, it's like opposite, because the summer is the time that we can go, we can do whatever we want. So there is a very long day, so we can do a lot of activities. So as you said, you never been into Copper Harbor, but I've been into Copper Harbor a couple of times. So there are a lot
throwing
of
me under the bus again.
and there are a lot of scenic view there, which I love to see. So yeah, I mean, I actually forget the specific name of that place in Copper Harbor, but there is a place where like you can sit and you can see the whole city.
Brockway Mountain.
Yes, that's correct.
You see, everyone sees what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. That was Mariana, by the way. Okay.
And that's the thing too, like not even just in the summer, but that view from Brockway Mountain in the fall, when all the fall colors have changed, there's reds, yellows, greens, it's beautiful from there. And I mean, another spoiler alert, we will have a Things to Do in Fall episode coming.
Which I feel like then will be my strong suit, because I love a good sweater. I love good fall, Halloween, all of that sort of stuff. So I will be more present for you in that one. MD, what are some other lovely things that you have found to be able to do in the summer here in the Houghton?
All right, so I'm a person like who actually love to do some battle game. I mean, so I go to play Laser Tag almost every week. You can say like Thursday and the pro session. So like there are a couple of games there you can do. So the first game is basically like the King of the Hill, then the flag game. So the King of the Hill is my favorite game to do. So it's basically like there is a two light, red and blue. So if you're in red side, you have to push the red until the whole box is get red. So like that's like pretty exciting game for me to do there. And also like I like to do bowling. So there is a place called like Minecraft probably. Yeah. So you can do bowling there. I'm not very good at bowling, but I try my best. And my lab mate, I mean, he's from China. So he have a little bit long nail. So I always bring a nail cutter with me because he always like break his nails. So, I always like bring that. So yeah, so the bowling, then laser tag, and also I like to watch movie in the Rosersberg Cinema Hall every Tuesday because that's the only $5. So the Tuesday movie only $5. So yeah, that's my favorite things to do in Houghton.
Yeah.
Three things.
And the laser tag and the movie theater, like you mentioned, they are in the Copper Country Mall. And so I know I talk about big shopping malls, and we don't have that. It's just a small mall, but those are two of the biggest things that I think we do have in there. And yeah, they are a great indoor option for any time of the year, really. But especially when people have that time during the summer, that downtime, it's a great thing to do.
I'm going to say something because I feel like I'm the bearer of bad news for this episode. But we don't have a mall. I'm just going to say that, right? We call it a shopping mall. It's called the shopping mall, but it's not a mall, okay? There's like 3 different stores, none of which are clothing stores, right? And a movie theater. So if you are coming from a big city, we would love to have you. We appreciate you considering one of the best institutions in the United States to come and get your education in. But if you want a mall, we do not have one. Okay, I'm just going to tell you that. So Jamie is lying to you. However, I will say that we have more. And I'm glad that you brought that perspective up, MD, because I think that you brought what I was talking about catering to all different kinds of students. We do get a lot of students, and I think that's, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie and Mariana, who have been here longer than I have, but I think that is a little bit of the traditional outlook of the community, is very outdoorsy, very adventurous in that sort of sense. And it almost feels like there is this minority of people that like to be indoors in the summer, which I raise my hand at. But I'm glad that you brought that up because it does show that you can really enjoy the summer and not be on the trails hiking. A lot of students do like that. A lot of community people do like that. But going to a movie theater, right? And especially our movie theater that Tuesdays has the $5 movies. Mariana, what are some, let's flip that, right? So what are some great things that students can do outdoors in the summer?
All right. I really, maybe I'm lucky because I have a Jeep now, so I can go to remote beaches. So I love, I do like hiking and all that, but to be honest, I like to get to remote areas where I usually would have not been able to get. So I love going to Cliff Mine all the way on the top with my car, and then just and then just walking very little time, and then seeing this amazing view where you think that I was like hiking for 2 hours, but I really wasn't. And then I love to go to the mouth of the Gratiot River because there's lots of beautiful agates. I do like to go to Copper Harbor. There's really nice restaurants there, like the Harbor House. There's nice waterfalls as well to see, and you don't need to hike too much to get there. This is one part that I like the Hungarian Falls are close to the university. It's like a beautiful view, and it really doesn't take too long to get there. So are the Jacobsville waterfalls. I do love like this mountain called Silver Mountain, and I didn't know about this until 3 years ago. And it's near Pelkey, and you are basically hiking a big rock, and you get to the top, and it's just the view is excellent. It is kind of like a view that you will see by driving to Lake of the Clouds and walking very little, and it's such a wonderful view, but it's not as well known. So if you go to places that are not as well known, don't be afraid of bears. These are not the bears that you will see in Alaska. So just make sure you make noise because they are more afraid of you than you're afraid of them. And we saw a bear 2 weeks ago with Farida. What was your experience, Farida, about seeing a bear?
Yeah, Farida. We also haven't. Farida, if you don't know, is one of our international students. She is our producer of our podcast. Like I said, one of the backbones of being able to do this. Farida, now I'm curious because what has been your experience seeing a bear, maybe for the first time, I don't know. And also tell us about your experience in the summer too. What are some things that you like to do? Are you more an outdoorsy person? Have you found value in doing things indoors? And what do you think about the extended sun?
Where do I begin?
The bear.
So the bear, it was not something we were expecting because first of all, we're told that they are still in hibernation. And I was trying to make a video of the view. The next thing I see is this really, I don't even know how to describe it, but this black creature just, runs across the road. And Mariana was actually the one that said it was a bear. So we slowed down and then we tried to get a better view of it. The bear was actually scared of us more than we were of it, like she already mentioned. And it was just, in that moment, I was shocked. I was happy. I was a little scared because Mariana was too excited that it seemed like she wanted to get out of the car to hug the bear. and then I got a few videos of it, and we also got greedy and wanted to see more bears, so we stayed there longer hoping to see more bears. And with regards to the sunlight, it's definitely very new to me. I come from Ghana, and the sun always sets at 6:30. Yeah, and it's very unusual to see the sun very high up in the sky after 9 p.m. It is. And looking at it from the perspective of productivity, you can still get a lot of things done. But if you are like me, that you are struggling to accept the concept of time because of the sun being up that late is difficult because then you cannot sleep if the sun is not setting. You have to close your windows, you have to make sure the room is dark in order to be able to sleep. And there's also the part where even when it sets, it doesn't seem dark enough to me. Like even at 11 p.m., it doesn't seem dark. It feels like 7 p.m. from where I'm coming from. So it's definitely something new, and I am a lover of new experiences, so I'm enjoying seeing that. Yeah.
My recommendation for that, and I had that same thing because I'm an early sleeper. I'm usually in bed by like 7:30, and I know in the summer that's very difficult, but get some
blackout curtains.
Blackout
That
curtains.
is what I was going to say earlier.
Yes.
I have that in my, because I'm normally like a 10 to 11 p.m. sleeper, and so I definitely have my blackout curtains, but my cat loves looking out the window, especially in the summer, so he likes to move back the curtains, and I'm like, I am trying to sleep. Can you not do that? But yeah, those are like a must-have in the summer if you do go to bed earlier.
What are some, let's just give out some, I feel like students always ask us to point to specific things. When we're talking about, like Mariana mentioned, waterfalls, the Hungarian waterfalls, let's go through sort of some of the things that we get mostly asked about. For instance, places to hike, what beaches are around, so that students can always refer back to this episode and say, oh my gosh, that's the one that they mentioned, right? You can also come see us at IPS. We can print out various resources for you that have different maps for the waterfalls, for the beaches, for the Keweenaw. So definitely come to our office, see any of us, and we will help you, guide you towards whatever it is that you are thinking, oh my gosh, that's what I really want to go to. So let's all go around. Let's start with waterfalls, just because it's the first thing that was mentioned. What are some places of I don't want to say worthy waterfalls, because they all are, but what are some very popular destinations for local waterfalls that you guys have heard students mention or you guys have experienced yourself?
Yeah, I mean, one that I have been to is actually Jacobs Falls, and that's up north as well near Copper Harbor. And so normally when I go up north, it's kind of like a day trip just because there's so much to see up there and so many different views. And Jacobs Falls, it's actually kind of cool because it's right down the road from this business called the Jam Pot, which has a wide variety of different jams and bakery, and there's cinnamon sourdough breakfast bread or whatever they had. Oh my gosh, amazing. So I personally like going there just because it can kind of be a 2-in-1 where I see a waterfall, take pictures, and also stop at the Jam Pot and get my goodies. So.
I have been in the Canyon Falls. I think they're beautiful. Have you been there,
Yes.
MD? Okay,
Yes, I
tell
think
us.
it's like you have to close the lens, right, to be there. Yeah. So basically, like, it's funny because like I had a driving exam before. I mean after that day. So my senior told me that why not you drive us to go there. So then basically I drive them to go there. So it was kind of like a driving practice for me as well, and to see the falls as well. So when I go there, so first I did not expect like the water. I mean, because like for me, I actually grew up like in the north side of my country. So we do not have like mountain, beaches, or falls like in my country. So the first time I see some waterfalls, it was in South Korea. So basically for me, so when I actually go there, so I did not expect like the speed. I mean the water speed will be that much. But when I start like walking through the trail and go up to the close to the water, and I found like, oh my gosh, like it's crazy. I mean the sound of the water. And like there are some little like sound, maybe some birds or something. So it's so hard to explain like how you will feel like. I actually never been into that much close to the nature, to be very honest. I mean until I come to the Houghton. So to be in Houghton is kind of like make me feel like a nature lover, to be honest. So because I actually born and grew up like in a very big city in my country. So I used to see in some tall building, a skyscraper, something like that. Even like in South Korea, I was also in a very big city. So came into the Houghton, seeing the waterfall with some noise from the birds and some other insect. It's like amazing feelings. I mean, it's so difficult for me to explain like how I feel, but it was like a great experience for me, I would say.
I'm with you too. I share that feeling as well. I mean, I get that feeling when I walk into a beautiful shopping mall, but we don't have that, as I said. But I joking aside, I've been to 2 of the falls here. I went to the Quincy Falls and I went to the Hungarian Falls, and I think that, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody who, I mean, like I said, Mariana and Jamie have been here the longest of all of us here, but the Hungarian Falls seemed to me the most accessible. I think that is one that you can really kind of baby step your way into. I haven't been to the other one. So I mean that in the sense of it's very direct. Like you know where you're parking, you know how far you're walking, there's different levels of them, and it's very right there. You don't have to go and scour and find them. I did the Quincy Falls first, and I was so lost. I was so I don't even think I ever found it, quite honestly. And I hiked maybe for like 2-3 hours trying to find it. It was a beautiful, beautiful hike. and you see a lot of the ruins from the mines, and I think that that's what makes it really beautiful. And it was a perfect day. I went with a good friend of mine, and we both, like I said, hiked for about 2-3 hours, never found it. We found a tiny fall that I don't think it was that. And then we went to the Hungarian ones, where that's kind of where my position was on it. But I do get the sense of it's almost very spiritual to be in front of a fall. It's very beautiful. It really just, for me at least, it brings this idea of we're just this small part of this big thing, and they're really quite breathtaking to see. What are some other waterfalls that you guys think are noteworthy for students to go and see?
I would say the Bon Falls, because like when I actually came here like on August, so it was like on the end of the summer. So my roommate that time offered me, hey, let's go to see the Bon Falls, and I said, okay, let's go. Then basically, like, I was completely new in here. I usually forget like in the which direction I went, to be honest. So then later I find it out. So I actually went there, and when we stepped down from the car, and I see there is no falls, and my apartment mate told me, okay, we have to walk a bit. And we actually go there, and there is a very beautiful falls. I think like Bon Falls is really great for taking picture, I would say. I mean, if you're a very picture lover, if you want to have a great falls, like, in your background, I think Bon Fall would be the great choice. So I would recommend to student to go there, and if you want to have a great, the falls behind you, I think like that's like great place to see.
Yeah. And like we said too, we do have those resources where we can hand you maps and kind of show you where some of these are. And I know a lot of the waterfalls, they're not that close to campus, so that might be something to do, once you have that social group, if you have someone with a driver's license or a vehicle. But that's just something to note with the waterfalls.
I do want to say one thing about safety. Like, I am adventurous, but I'm very careful, okay? So when it says stop, do not cross, that means stop, do not cross. I don't want you to go to Canyon Falls and think that you can keep on going and jump in this big hole. People do get in severe accidents. I don't want you jumping on the water, like from cliffs. I don't want you to do anything crazy. Even if you see people doing it, please know that these are dangerous things. Like, when it says stop, stop. Do not try to step on the waterfall like some people do, because there's not that much water. The rocks are very slippery. People do get hurt. So please do everything safe, and you can take beautiful pictures without falling, without hurting yourself. So I just want to make sure that people understand that being adventurous doesn't mean doing it not safety.
Mm-hmm.
That is wonderful advice, because even though you can get hurt doing laser tag, right? I feel like you can.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. I mean, so before you start to play, the instructor is always give you the safety procedure and everything. But the problem is, the game is so intense. It's like you will feel like you are in a battleground. So you have to be very careful, especially like, do not do blind fire, do not jumping and running if you go to play. So just go by walk. Okay, if you die, it's not like end of the world. You can go to and get the respawn again and come back to play. Because like, I want to share some experience as well. Like one of my people from Bangladesh. So he actually got a job. So he's about to leave Houghton. So, and before he left, and I said, okay, let's go to play laser tag for the last time. Mm-hmm. And we went to play the laser tag, and he actually got a little bit hurt in his eyesight. But thank God that he's actually, eye did not go high, it's the area of the eye. So because like he was running and somebody was like coming in the same direction. So and another suggestion is, if you go to play laser tag, always put your gun down if you're walking or if you're running. I mean, do not like put the gun like this and running or jumping. So do not do this, because like, it's so fun, at the same time it's like risky, as actually Mariana mentioned. Like, you can do adventures, you can do so many things, but safety first.
Right. And I think we really do hit that excuse me, we really do hit that home in IPS when we are talking to students about things to do in the Keweenaw. There are 21 waterfalls in the Keweenaw. all of them have their own safety protocols. Be sure that you are reading signs. Be sure that you are wearing protective gear if you go to some of these things, if you're hiking, all those sorts of things. And if you don't know how, right, if you can get hurt doing laser tag, you can definitely get hurt hiking, going to see a waterfall. Come to see us. We'll help you out with that. But let's move on to keeping in that theme. What are some places of note that students can look at if they're interested in hiking, if they're interested in camping, if they're interested in going to a park, right, and just sitting there and maybe reading or doing their homework or calling their family? What are some places that you guys think are noteworthy for students to visit?
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of camping, I know that that's a pretty popular activity. I know a lot of locals, that's kind of like their escape for the week or the weekend. They'll just go out of their house and just go to a campground. I know a popular one is Hancock Campground, and it's actually kind of nice because they have a nice campground area, but then if you walk on a little trail, it'll actually bring you right out to Hancock Beach. And so, you can go fishing, you can in the actual campground area, but you can also go swimming on the actual beach portion as well. So that's more close to home than some of the other options that you could have. So I know my friends growing up, their family would do that once or twice a summer, just have a week out at Hancock Campground and just experience the summer. So
I really admire the people that love camping. I only tried it once many years ago, and it's not for me, but I do appreciate the people that can, and I think you can have a lot of fun. I noticed as well that Agate Beach, it seems like a really big place. It also has public restrooms. I think that's important when you think about camping. Where will I go to the restroom? Is there showers? Is there restrooms? So Hancock is very popular because of that, but maybe look into those places too, because everybody likes to take a shower at the end of the day, right? Just because you're camping, you don't need to be not taking a shower.
MD or Farida, have you guys gone camping? And for international students that have not or are incoming and listening to this episode, did you guys know what camping was coming to Houghton?
Oh yes, I would say because I actually went to a lot of state park so far. So I actually went to the Barraga State Park. I went to McLean State Park and some other state park. So basically, I seen a lot of people they do are campaigning, and like compared to my place, it's very unusual because normally in our place it's a very small country. We don't need to do campaign actually. We can go and come back. So yeah, it's very great that people are staying there and seeing the nature for a long time. So yeah, I mean. And also, they're very friendly. So I still remember, my friends, she was a little bit hungry, and she went up there. She's just walking there by, and they're offering food. So they're very friendly people, I would say. So yeah, I mean, you can go and you can talk with them, and you can get to know their experiences, and you can get a lot of beautiful story. I can say, because when I went to the Barraga State Park, I found a couple. They are maybe over 90 years old. And I was talking with them about 20 minutes, and they're sharing their story, how they met, and what so many other places do campaign. So in the whole summer they do campaign. It's not only in Michigan; they're from Michigan, but they do campaign in many other states. So in the whole summer they do that. So if you talk with them, you can get a lot of beautiful story. I would say it's not only seeing the campaign, but also knowing the story that make you feel really great. And in your back mind, that story will remain for a long time. That I would say.
Very interesting. I have not been camping before, but it's definitely something I want to check off my bucket list. In Ghana, camping is not a big thing, but there are places where people who love camping can go. There's a place called Shy Hills where camping is a very big thing there. And if I want to actually check out the camping thing, I would definitely want a place that has a public restroom, like Mariana said. So I would definitely want to try camping at some point, and maybe I can come back and let you know what my experience was.
Definitely. And I think one other thing, too, that is very specific to the United States that kind of goes along with camping is something called s'mores. And that is a very popular summertime treat. And so, MD, I'm curious, have you had a s'more yet?
No,
Okay.
not yet.
So, Mariana, do you want to tell us, or Christian, what a s'more is and what that entails in the process?
It's a delicious graham cracker, and then you can make it really fancy actually. So the basic is graham cracker, chocolate, and marshmallow. But if you want to make it a little fancy, then you can add different jams. And then I usually bring jams from fruit that I have picked in the summer. So I will bring thimbleberry when we have our s'more and the outdoors event at IPS that we will have this summer. We will bring people to talk about outdoor things that you can do, but also we will show you how you can make a fancy s'more. So you can put peanut butter or different nut butters, and then you can put jam, and then you can put dark chocolate, and you can put even like Reese's Pieces instead, and the marshmallow. I mean, you can make this a whole meal. Like, it could get really fancy and really, really tasty. So I recommend you come, because we will have lots of options for you to try it and make your own s'more. And then you can then pick your favorite and then take that and do it at the beach, because at the beach here you can get some wood, you can make a fire like Jamie and I just did last weekend at Gratiot River, and then you can make your own s'mores right there. So people are really nice about having you make a small fire and making your s'mores. Like everybody appreciates that.
And it's really cool with the marshmallows, because it's not just like you're assembling and eating it. It's like you put in the effort. So you actually toast the marshmallow over the fire. And I know a big controversy with marshmallows is, what is the perfect level of toasting? And so, like, some people, they shove the stick with the marshmallow directly into the fire. It's completely black. I'm like a lightly toasted golden brown, where it's like starting to melt, but it's still got that crunch to it. So yeah, I mean, that's an activity you could do just for fun at the beach, but especially camping, I think that's, a big activity that's kind of tied in there.
I'm with Farida. And I wanted to backtrack a little bit on my comment to MD and Farida about if they knew what camping was. And the reason I say that is because I was raised in Florida, and we did not do camping. I didn't really know what camping really entailed until I moved to Michigan. It was too hot, just like for you, MD. But I do love camping. I mean, I am a bit of a diva when it comes to camping. I cannot do a tent camping. I need to have like a camper or a cabin or something like that to camp. But I am a huge fan of s'mores too. And just having Mariana and Jamie talk about it made me want one. But
Me too.
Speaking of that, let's go into food, right? And so I think that is something that a lot of students. We get so many students from so many different beautiful, rich places that have their own ingredients, have their own custom food options. And so dietary restrictions, all those sorts of things that we hear about. What is some food that you guys think about, or even restaurants too? And we can throw in there also drinks, alcoholic, non-alcoholic. What are the things that you guys see around Houghton that really stand out to you in the summer when it comes to kind of fulfilling that need of hunger?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of full meals, this isn't really a good example of that, but I mean, this kind of ties back into activities and things to do in the summer is berry picking. There are many different farms that you can pick berries and then eat the berries as is. I like to do that, or you can make it into jams for your s'mores, or make it into pies, or freeze them for a later date, So I feel like that's kind of, again, one of the things where you have the activity, you have the process, and you have that sweet treat at the end, so.
Yeah, and when it comes to berries, there's two types, right? So the ones that you can pick at the farm where you pick and then they wait, and that will be like starting with the first strawberries, then raspberries, and then blueberries. But the most fun for me, I mean, that is great to do, but it's the wild berries. So pretty soon the wild strawberries are going to start coming out. And then the wild raspberries and the wild thimbleberries. Yes, it's not efficient, as you do a lot of hours for a little bit, but I tell you, the thimbleberries, you're never having to have berries like this anywhere. They are like a mix of what could I say? It tastes like a really fancy raspberry.
I did hear that it was like a mix of a raspberry and a strawberry.
Yes.
And for those of you that don't know, a thimbleberry is this specific, correct me if I'm wrong, but is a specific berry that just grows in the Upper Peninsula.
I believe in the Upper Peninsula on New Mexico, but I'm not so sure.
Okay.
But we're pretty famous for the thimbleberry. You are correct.
Yeah, I actually tried food in some couple of restaurants in here. So my first, I think I tried for the first time. It was La Cantina. So it was a great Mexican restaurant, and it's not only food. So if you go inside that restaurant, I mean the seat and the music, you will get like you are in a very small part of Mexico, I would say. I mean, and also the people who are working there. So they will say, "Hey, amigos." It's so beautiful to hear from them, actually. So I actually tried food, like I tried, I think, because I went there a couple of times. So I think my first day I tried Flatus. It was really great. And also like they will give you a lot of complimentary nachos, so which is great. Because I love nachos. So when I was in South Korea, I actually bought a very small amount of nachos for like $6 and $7. When you get a ball of nachos, it was like great for me. Then I started eating nachos and I almost forget about my real meal. So
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse. Like, it's amazing, but then by the time my food actually comes, I'm full off of the chips and salsa.
Yeah.
And another good thing about La Cantina, it is kind of like Joyce, where the service is really fast and really good. So you want to also like think about your time, how much time you have between exams. It's really nice to go out with your friends, but you don't want to wait like an hour for service. So these places have really good service.
I agree. I also like the Ambassador. Ambassador is a really popular student hangout, the downtowner. Ambassador is really known for their pizzas. If you like that, the downtowner I think is more of a bar, but they really do cater to a lot of different things. They have chicken wings. You can play darts. You can get burgers and stuff like that. So I think that that's a really good option too. One of my favorites, and I think a favorite in our office, quite honestly, is Sky Sushi.
Oh, I love that. I mean, actually, I'm not a big sushi person, to be honest, but I'm a tea person. So I actually went there just to try the bubble tea. So that was my purpose to went there. I mean, my intention was not to try their sushi, to be very honest. But like my friend was with me, and I said, okay, you were already there. Why are you not trying just one item to see if you can change your mind? Then I tried the California Mackie, and it was great. To be honest, it was great. It was like even better than the bubble tea. I mean, that I tried. So yeah, so California Mackie is a must-try item. I always recommend to people, like if they go up there, they should try this. I mean, that's like a great combination with that Mackie and the bubble tea. I mean, if you're a tea person, so. Yeah, I think like I actually went there like a couple of times just to try that, again and again, because I really love that.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people too with Sky Sushi. They are like that, where they're like, I don't like sushi, or they just don't want to try it. But they actually have a really, really good ramen there as well. They have a regular and a spicy tonkatsu ramen, and the pork is super, super tender. It is just, it melts in your mouth type of situation, and oh my gosh, it's amazing. So yeah, places like that, there's definitely a lot of options for you, even if the main purpose of that restaurant isn't something that suits your needs.
I think we need to eat after this.
I'm starving now.
Absolutely.
And another thing, as a student, sometimes we don't have necessarily all the budget to eat a full meal. But what I love is, and I did this when I was in college, like I will just get something small, but I just want to experience the place. So I think like going to places, like don't feel afraid of going to a place like the Observatory, which is inside of the Hampton Inn Hotel. You have a beautiful view, and you know what? Just get a mocktail. Just get a Coke. Like, enjoy the place. One day you have something big to celebrate, and then you go and you get a full meal. But don't be afraid of just going to a place and just eat an appetizer with a friend, or just get something to drink and move on, and then go for a walk. Like, people are super welcoming, and they understand that. So never be afraid of just getting a drink or a small appetizer and move on.
I think we cannot finish this food section without talking about a pasty. Right, I think that, and for all of our students who are newer, who are incoming, Jamie, tell me what is a pasty. Tell everybody what's a pasty, and then we're going to go through and say, are you a ketchup or a gravy person?
Yeah, so a pasty is like a Cornish type of dish, and so it's really hard to explain it. I mean, obviously people do it differently and have different takes on it, but ultimately you bake it in the oven. It's like a crust with, the edges tightened, and there's meat, potatoes, veggies, and all of that into kind of like if you think kind of like a chicken pot pie, it's kind of like that, different shape. There's a lot of places up here that have it. I know on the Culture Shock episode, that was a controversial topic for us. I am definitely a gravy person if I do choose to have a pasty, because I don't really like ketchup. But personally, I could just eat the crust, like the bread, just outright. Like if I could buy that as like a packet at the store, I would, because that's my favorite part. But gravy is definitely my preference for it.
And what's your favorite place?
See, that's a hard one too. I mean, honestly, I do really like Amy J's, and growing up here, my mom, always goes there to get pasties, and so I think that's my go-to. But I know the Mohawk Superette, I believe, also has pasties, and I think Tuesdays and Fridays, they actually have them fresh made, so I hear that's a pretty popular option as well.
Roy's.
Amy J, and without ketchup or gravy, it's so good. But the crust, I wait for that crust. It's too good.
MD, have you had a pasty?
Probably not. I think because I actually do not eat meat outside for some reason. But I actually tried some actually food in some similar place, like the place called the Copper Ranch Depot Family Restaurant. So we had a lab breakfast. So it's supposed to be a lab lunch, but our professor told me he have some other appointment in the lunchtime. Then we basically make that as a breakfast. So in that restaurant. So for me, I tried some omelette with some potato in it and some cheese. So it was great. So yeah, I mean, I think for the breakfast that can be a good option. And also there is another place I recently tried. It's called the Victoria Kitchen. I think the prices are really reasonable, I would say. And also they have a lot of tea. I mean sometimes we do some tea time in IPS, right? So we can see lot of different tea, and also if you order tea, they will give you a bunch of options, so you can make your own tea to take the flavor, so which is great. So I think in the morning, these two places would be great.
I'm definitely a ketchup person. What about you, Farida? Have you had a pasty yet? And if so, ketchup or gravy, or none?
I have not tried a pasty. I haven't yet.
These students, we need to have pasty time instead of tea time, honestly.
Yes, and for all of you who don't eat meat, Amy J's has amazing vegetarian pasties. So you will know what we mean.
Yeah, and definitely there are a lot of restaurants and stores where you can get these great items for the summer and for your camping experiences, as well as some ice cream. There's many different options in the area, but kind of turning back to our homegrown food topics, there also are farmers markets up in here during the summer, and so there are multiple throughout the week. There are specific ones each day of the week in different locations. And so if someone has been to a farmer's market yet, I know, Christian, you went this week. So tell us, what is a farmer's market for those that may not have it?
I do love a farmer's market. So as Jamie pointed out, here in the summer, farmer's markets are really, really popular. It's almost like a street fair with different vendors. And so you can get a lot of locally made or grown items. And so it can be crochet pieces, it can be flowers, it can be fruits and vegetables, breads, honey, maple syrup, scones, bagels, all the things. And there's also a lot of options for dietary restrictions for meat eaters. There is a lot of stands that also have, for instance, bacon or beef jerky or anything like that. So definitely come see us at IPS. We can guide you towards which day of the week they are happening in which little town here. Houghton's is Tuesdays. 3 to 6 p.m. And it's wonderful. If you are somebody that loves locally grown, resourced items, produce, all of that sort of stuff, and maybe make your own meals at home, that is a great avenue for you to go to as well. I love their tomatoes. I love Ghost Farms that goes there. But turning it back, because I feel like we're kind of running short on time, quite honestly, and there is just so much more that we did not cover. There's so many places, so many beautiful locations, waterfalls, hikes, beaches, camping locations, activities that you can do within all of those, restaurants, places that you can go and really get fresh food. I think that and things around campus too that we didn't even get a chance, like the Mineral Museum and all those sorts of things that we really have here locally and internally in Michigan Tech. Definitely follow us too with our International Husky that we send out every week. We try to give, Mariana's really great at compiling that. She is the one that looks at all of the things happening around town, all of the things happening in Michigan Tech, so that you guys are in the know about all of these things, so that you can get the most experience out of not only your summertime, but your time here at Michigan Tech. So, what do you think, co-host? What else did we miss? We missed so much, but
yeah, and I mean that just goes to show, like, we've been here for a short amount of time, and there's still so much to cover. I mean, there's things to do by yourself, things to do with groups, indoor activities, outdoor activities, all these nature places. So definitely reach out to us if you want some local locations to go to. And any thoughts from you, Mariana?
Yeah, my thoughts is, don't think that you need to have a car. And you can always rent car with friends, but also don't think you need to have a car to see beautiful nature, okay? So Michigan Tech trails are beautiful. They will have lots of wild thimbleberries there. You can rent a bike for, I think, less than $10 a day with the helmet, and there's a lot of mountain biking there and professional bikes. You can go to the Humane Society and walk a dog that needs to go for a walk. It's like, at the end of the day, the dog will thank you, but you will thank the dog because you went for a beautiful walk. The Prince Point is right here below the Roses Center on the beach. So don't think you need to have a car to have fun. And if you want, go get a really good ice cream at Black Ice Comics today.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to mention, because like I'm a kind of like ice cream person, to be very honest, like especially in summer. So I think the drive-through depot is a great place. It's their ice cream quality is really good, and I think it's one of the cheapest ice cream, to be very honest. I mean, I never get like this like type of good quality ice cream in that price. So yeah, it's only like 9 miles from there, so it's totally worth to, like, you know, to go and give it a try. But yeah, I mean, if you are not a very big ice cream person, do not order their small one or even the big one, because like a small means it's not a small, it's huge. So what is the baby on?
Yep, the mini is even like a medium. But yeah, and like you said, the Humane Society, that's a good thing too. That's really close to campus, and actually across the road there's a Nara Nature Boardwalk, and shout out to my parents because I know they listen to this as well. But we like to go on walks on there. It's beautiful nature. You can see turtles and frogs and a lot to do.
Yeah, I mean, I actually want to mention another thing, the Princess Point. I mean, that's the place that I basically visited for the first time after I come to the campus. So my lab mate basically offered me to walk through the Princess Point, and I found Mariana is riding cycle, and we saw the Mariana is coming. So I basically, like, I knew Mariana like a couple of days from then, so I did not recognize her, but my lab mate recognized her and I say hello. Then Mariana is running very fast with her cycle, and she just passed and say hello. So it was like a very short interaction. So yeah, I mean, that's a really good place to go by walk. I mean, you don't need bike, or I mean, a cycle would be great, I guess, but you can still like go by walk and see the beaches. So I think the Princess Point is a great option, like to start with the beaches journey, I guess, like in hotel.
Yeah, and definitely is less than 9 miles from the university. If you get a bike, you can go all the way to Chassel Beach, and they have now pickleballs, so you can play pickleball there. But it's a really pretty beach, and like a lot of people also fish from there. So another thing that I forgot to mention is what is the history of this area, and it's the mines. So there are a lot of really nice mines that open in the summer, and you can go to the Quincy mine, especially in a really hot day because the mine is always like in the 40s. So Quincy mine, if you want to go a little farther, then we have the Delaware mine, like near Copper Harbor, and another fine mine is the Adventure mine, who also has a lot of black diamond, but a lot of cycling trails if you want to try it. Like they have been doing that for a couple of years, and they're pretty amazing trails. I'm not any black diamond person, but like I like seeing people doing things like that.
I can't believe we've reached the end of another episode.
Yeah.
And it goes to show you we ran a little bit longer than we normally do is because there is just so much to do. There's so much out there. And what we want to leave you with, I think, is the hope that even though Houghton is very small, it may not compare in different ways, like we do not have a mall. I keep saying that, right? Okay. Is that we have so much vibrancy in this community. There's so much beautiful nature out there. There's so much that you can do indoors. There's so much lovely food, and the community is really wonderful and welcoming to all of anybody that is here. And that does not even include all the things that we have within Michigan Tech, all of the events that we do through so many of our different departments, and especially in IPS. And if you even don't know what you want to do, come into our office, talk to one of us and say, I think I'm interested in this. I think I'm interested in that. Where do you recommend? And we have a ton of resources, a ton of information for you, and guide you to that right place for you. Be safe, be cautious, be happy, be hopeful. This is such a wonderful journey for you. It's such a short journey too, right? And so get out there and explore as much as you can, whether that is at the Hungarian waterfalls, whether that is at a nature trail, or even laser tag or $5 movies. We will see you guys next time. Thank you to our guest, Mariana, who you will see at IPS all the time. She is our administrative aide, and she's wonderful. NMD, and of course, our producer, Farida.
Yes.
Don't thank Jamie. She.
Well, okay.
No, we love Jamie. Jamie is such a strong asset in our office, and really, this is her labor of love. So, if you guys see us around, definitely say hi and swing by the office to see us.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.